On Christmas night in St. Paul, the fans didn't want to deck the halls because Hulka Claus ain't coming to town. And why is this? It's kind of funny. Vern stole Hulk's Japanese money, so Hulka Claus ain't coming to town. I'm John Retton with the retro review of AWA Christmas Night 1983. And Vern Gagne shot himself in the foot, shot his company in the foot, and basically was going to burn his goddamn company to the ground. It just took a few years after this because he got greedy. And my fucking goodness, Hulk Hogan leaving the AWA, rewrote history, and basically AWA was history soon after this. My goodness, DuckTales, woohoo. So yeah, imagine what would have happened if Hulk Hogan had stayed around the AWA at least through 1984. They wouldn't have had to get on the floor and do the dinosaur or bring in dinosaurs and bring in people to try and juice things up because Vern Gagne got really goddamn greedy. And I am no big fan of Hulk Hogan, especially after recent events and a whole bunch of other stuff and the fact that he lies and lies and lies and a whole bunch of lies upon lies upon lies. Seriously, there are so many Hulk Hogan lies, we could come up with a goddamn list. Forever and a day that's never. But that being said, Vern Gagne was not the best at dealing with talent, even though the AWA was printing money in the 70s and 80s, and they were selling out arenas. Basically, the history of this, the short history, because this was talked about in the AWA documentary, The Spectacular Legacy of the AWA, which was really goddamn good. Hulk Hogan, left the WWF at the time because he wanted to make Rocky 3, and it was a big boost to him. I mean, Mr. T probably got the biggest boost out of it because nobody really knew who Mr. T was. He got the A-Team and stuff like that, and we got WrestleMania 1 and a whole bunch of other stuff. But Hulk Hogan exploded in Japan while Rocky 3 was going on as well. Well, once that kicked in, he was a big baby face in the AWA. He was doing great business in New Japan, working with Inoki, and he was just on fire. He was all over the goddamn place. And the money he was making on merch, especially for that time, was huge. Now, obviously, he would do big numbers once he went to WWE, but he was doing big numbers for the AWA. And Vern Gagne was going to put the belt on him, apparently, at AWA Super Sunday 1983. That was in April of 83. I'll probably be retro-reviewing that sometime early next year, because why the fuck not? It's great to watch basically a whole bunch of fans in the St. Paul Civic Center get all pissed because Hulk Hogan should have won the belt there. They didn't put the belt on him because Vern Gagne basically wanted a cut of his Japanese money and he wanted a cut of this and everything. He basically wanted to take a whole bunch of money that he hadn't really earned. And I kind of get it because Vern felt as a promoter investing in Hulk meant that he should get the keys to the kingdom. The thing is Hulk was already doing this business outside of the AWA and felt that he earned basically 100% of the profits. And he wasn't wrong in that case. Now, sure, Hulk Hogan's ego would get out of goddamn control. Randy Savage was always better than Hulk Hogan. But that and quite a few other things led to Hulk Hogan having basically fallen out with Vern Gagne. And leading up to Christmas night, they had basically set up a whole bunch of, they had set up a finish or, for, working a bunch of steel cage matches on a tour in January of 84. And a whole bunch of interviews have been recorded. Hogan was going to be part of the Christmas night event. And then he wasn't. And that's pretty much the general story. Vince Jr. had basically made a deal with Hogan and said, he says he doesn't remember what he said to Hogan. Big fucking deal, or big fucking yikes. He definitely absolutely remembers what he said, or at least he did at that time. He might not now because Vince McMahon basically looks like a goddamn corpse. But at that time in 2006 when he cut those interviews, I guarantee you he remembers. Especially for the guy that was the biggest boost to his business. Even though Vince McMahon had begun his national expansion, guys like Jimmy Snuka he could not rely on. Hogan was the guy. He was the key. And Hogan leaving hurt the AWA badly. Now, who knows if Hogan being with the AWA in 84, 85, 86, if it would have been as hot in 87. Who knows? Who knows? We will never know that. But yeah, Merry Christmas, everybody. We want Hulk, we want Hulk. Nope, you're getting Baron Von Raschke. All due respect to the Baron, who is still alive, thank goodness, because he is an AWA legend, and also wrestled Jim Crockett Promotions, and is somebody that is on Cameo, and he actually has pretty interesting cameos, and it's just really nice that Baron Von Raschke is remembered and revered to this day. But they didn't want Baron Von Raschke. They wanted Hulk. They wanted Hulk. And this was definitely something, it was a pivotal moment. Yeah, I'm just going to go with the Dustyism right there. It was pivotable. Okay, sorry. But This is where AWA, even though 84 was big business-wise, in 85, 86, they had some talent and they were still able to be strong in some areas. They were never the same. It was a death blow. Numerous people left. Jesse Ventura, Tito Santana, Mean Gene Okerlund. Bobby Heenan was the only one apparently to fulfill all his commitments, which makes sense because Bobby Heenan seemed like an honorable guy, and rest in peace, Bobby Heenan. That's why I'm wearing this sweet t-shirt, because the Heenan School of Broadcast Journal. My broadcast journalist, you're a liar, you're a liar. God, I miss Monsoon. Oh, I miss Monsoon. The whole point is, that's a brief history of why basically the fans were chanting, we want Hulk, and why Hulk Hogan boosted WWE, because he won the WWE Championship very soon after coming back to the company, after, having that exodus, after Vince Sr. was like, I don't want you to make the movie. Well, I want to make this movie. Well, Terry, you're not going to come back. God, Vern, you goddamn it, you fucked up. You fucked it up, Vern. He's been dead for a number of years, and I don't think you would have paid attention to this anyway, but he fucked it up. He fucked it up royally, and he screwed a lot of people out of a lot of goddamn money. So yeah, let's talk about this show, because I just talked about history and everything, and did jingle jangle sparkles and everything for a few minutes. This is from Classic Wrestling Stuff on YouTube. Technical difficulties. This was originally on the WWE Network, but I found it on YouTube, because they, even though WWE stuff is on the cock, they're having difficulty uploading all the classic stuff. So yeah, the St. Paul Civic Center, 18,000 people. Mean Gene Okerlund doing the ring announcing and doing the interviews. Rob Trongard on commentary. Well, at least he was better here than he was in 1987. I retro-reviewed that. The producer joined in and did not like this hat at all. He hates the sound. Anyway. But yeah, on Christmas night, a lot of these matches were joined in progress. In fact, it might as well have been called Joined in Progress, the musical. Brad Reagan's taking on the AWA British Empire Heavyweight Champion, Billy Robinson. That was a mouthful. Billy Robinson had been wrestling since 1955. That's a while. To give you an idea, my parents were born the year prior. So yeah, even at this point, Billy Robinson, who I believe still wrestled a few years after this, he was a hell of a goddamn talent. Him and Vern had a series of good matches that I've heard about. I've obviously never seen. That's the thing. I kind of wish the AWA had more big events that were from the 70s that survived, like videotape or whatever. Like, film, whatever it is. I don't care how it would have been transferred. I wish more of those big events had happened, and just been saved, because it's just nice to see this stuff in, for historical context. Though, that being said, again, this was joined in progress, and there was a lot of groundwork. The crowd was chanting boring, and you're thinking these are the AWA fans that were locked in, but Hogan helped take the AWA to new... I'm not saying Hogan was the only reason, because there were other characters. The High Flyers were a dynamic team. Greg Gagne and Jumping Jim Rozelle, and various others. They were trying to youth this thing up. Really had to be careful with how I said that, because the company did get euthanized a number of years later, but the crowd booed heavily when it went to a time limit draw. And then they did a handshake. Boo! Because the fans didn't want to see sportsmanship. They want to see Hogan rip his goddamn shirt. We want Hulk. We want Hulk. You ain't getting Hulk because the owner of the company that you're watching this show of was a goddamn greedy bastard. Jesse Ventura versus Steve Olenowski. My God, they said Olenowski a whole lot. They called him Steve-O for short. They should have kept calling him Steve-O. Or Steve Ole. Maybe not Steve-O, even though this guy was talented, unlike the other Steve-O. Jesse was not a good wrestler, but he was a very charismatic individual and was great on promos. And he wasn't great with psychology. He wasn't terrible, but he was better in tag teams. Steve was fine. He fires up and gets a few near falls. Jesse stalls a bit. And then he gets, after getting knocked around the post and everything, Steve-O decides to choke him with a rope, which isn't a DQ, even though it's in full view of the referee. And then Jesse Ventura gets the backbreaker and gets the victory. Okay, there we go. Let's move on to this. Rick Martel versus Superstar Billy Graham. Joined in progress. Well, I guess they can't all be winners. And my God, this is when Superstar Billy Graham was the skeletal remains of whatever the fuck he was, even in 1980. Seriously, look at him here and then look at him in 1978. It's dramatic. This is also when he was doing the Taekwondo thing. Not Miami Connections Taekwondo, because they were not against the ninja. Anybody who gets that reference at this point. I love you guys. Riff Tracks did a great version of, talking about, or they did a great riffing, rather, because Riff Tracks, of Miami Connection. Poor Rick Martel. There were a lot of wrestles and bear hugs, and this was embarrassing. Rick Martel got thrown over the top rope for a DQ, so he won. Then he was upset and chased Graham with a chair. Graham lazily got out of the ring. Mean Gene is then talking to Blackjack Lanza. And mentions the January 15th event where it's going to be a Texas bunkhouse match. It's going to be Lanza versus Bobby Heenan. And it's going to be people surrounding the ring. You got to come dressed as a cowboy. There's a rhinestone cowboy mentioned here. And then Lanza seemed a little lost, but then again, he was near the end of his career by this point. And Mean Gene says, Hulk Hogan is in Japan and won't be here. Boos. Massive boos. Boos forever. So many boos. I think they intentionally cut it off on the tape because of how many boos there were. And he said, stay tuned, though. He is trying so hard to do damage control because Mean Gene's a goddamn professional and says, you're going to get a special substitute in the 8-man tag, so stick around, please. Don't throw trash at the ring. Don't do like you did on Super Sunday 83, where you were justifiably pissed off. Mean Gene was probably thinking this. A lot of other fans were thinking it at the time. So the High Flyers of Brunzell and Greg Gagne, with Ray Stevens and Baron Von Raschke subbing for Hulk Hogan, taking on Mr. Saito, Sheik Adnan El Casey, and the Sheiks, who were Ken Patera and Jerry Blackwell. Why Jerry Blackwell was a Sheik, I have no... Why Ken Patera was a Sheik, I don't know. This was also joined in progress. The crowd was not thrilled about this, to say the least. It's not that the psychology was necessarily the worst. It's not that there weren't storylines, but the crowd was chanting, we won Hulk, we won Hulk. And even though they did pop when there was a victory, they were probably like, yay, maybe this is a lie and Hogan's going to come out. And Hogan didn't come out. Slingshot for 3. Baron Von Raschke, by the way, was on the face side. Yet commentary said that Baron Von Raschke got pinned. It was Sheik Adnan El Casey. I see. They all look alike to you, do they, Ron? You idiot. Poor Ron Trongard. If he's still alive, I should feel bad, but I won't. Seriously, one guy is a Sheik and one guy's a Baron. Figure out your monarchies or figure out your royalties or wherever the hell those titles are. By the way, Buck Zumhoff versus somebody got cut. And that's good, because Buck Zumhoff deserves to be forgotten beyond me mentioning and reminding people that Buck Zumhoff was a guy that liked to assault women and assaulted his own daughter that way. I don't even care if I don't care. You put your hands on your kids like that and pull a Grizzly Smith, you deserve to fucking rot, and hopefully he fucking rots in prison. So anyway, Nick Bockwinkel with Bobby Heenan took on Mad Dog Vachon with the Crusher in his corner. The Crusher returning to the Civic Center for the first time since 1981. Maybe, possibly. AWA World Title match. So yeah, even though they did the intros, then we were joined in progress a little bit later. It was something. Mad Dog was certainly interesting, even at this point in his career. And Nick was a pro as always. There were weasel chants. The Crusher, for the most part, kept Bobby Heenan away and not involved. But then, the crowd really wanted Mad Dog to win. Heenan gets sent over the top rope into the ring, but there's a 3 count. So, even though they delayed this or mistimed it or whatever, Mad Dog Vachon wins. And then Crusher has a chair and lays out Heenan, and they lay out Bockwinkel and all that stuff, and they beat him up. And then it turns out that the referee reverses the decision. Oh, wait, no, because Heenan did this and everything, Bockwinkel gets DQ'd, so he retains the championship. But Mad Dog wins. The crowd boos. I can't figure out why the AWA had difficulty keeping fans' interest and the trust of fans when they kept doing all this bullshit. Same thing happened with Crockett Promotions when Dusty kept doing the DQ finishes and all that stuff and everything. But at least they were doing really, really good business. AWA shot themselves in the goddamn foot and Vern Gagne is a fucking idiot. But anyway, Merry Christmas. You don't get Hulk. You're going to get a bunch of other people and everything. And you're going to get the Road Warriors in about a year. Do you know who the Road Warriors are? Well, they may have not at this time, but they were happy to get him. And then Crockett got him because he could pay him more, and also Super Clash 1 really did not go all that well because Vern Gagne kept a lot of the profits because he was a greedy bastard. Anyway, agree, disagree with what I said. Like, share, subscribe. Twitter handle in the description. I'm John Ritlin. Merry Christmas, St. Paul. I'll see you soon.